People power growth, but recruiting and onboarding are expensive, exhausting, and absolutely overwhelming. I've been there, and it doesn't have to be this way. Welcome to Hire and Empower. I'm your host, Molly McGrath. Join me as we interview leaders who care about their teams and distill powerful lessons from them. This show is sponsored by H&E, helping organizations to find their best hire and empower them for success. Learn more at hiringandempowering.com. Okay, guys, let's do this. This is going to be a fun conversation for our entrepreneurs and our true entrepreneurs at heart, because today we are talking about entrepreneurs buying and selling remarkable companies and what you need to be thinking about today. You all tell me. Own your business. You don't want to make certain that it's something that is scalable, that's sellable, that you can be able to eventually be able to sell your business succession. You teach your clients this, you all talk about it. And so today we are going to be talking about if your goal is 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, 15 years, what you need to be doing today. So I'm so excited. I have Susan Frew here, and Susan is a director of business growth at Raincatcher. We're going to have all the links here in the show notes, and it's raincatcher.com for people that are at your computer and you want to follow along, pull up the website, what have you. You can find Susan on LinkedIn as well. I'm going to have all of her links for her website and LinkedIn, her social channels, so you can absolutely engage and connect with her. So Susan, thank you for being our guest today.
Hey, Molly, thank you so much for having me on. I'm delighted to be here.
Yes. And we were talking before we started recording today, and Susan's going to do a special webinar for our listeners and for my entire community. So I'm really excited about that. On what's the title of it, Susan?
It's the 8 value drivers to increase the value in your business, because regardless of how long you are planning to exit your business, it's never too soon to begin. And I always joke and say there's only 2 ways to exit your business: planned or unplanned. That's it.
Oh, I love that.
Let's go with number 1.
Yes, absolutely. So Susan and I met, and we were just chatting about this Susan was doing her TED Talk in 2017 in Denver. Yeah. We both live in Denver. I had another fellow friend, Jolene Park, who was also doing her TED Talk there. And it was such an extraordinary day in Lakewood. And I remember, Susan, when you came on stage and you talked about the trades and you talked about you're a woman running and owning, which you still do, a plumbing business, Sunshine Plumbing. And your talk was so powerful about the missed opportunities in the trades. And I'd love for you to tell everybody a little bit about your backstory.
Sure. Well, my background is actually in telecom. I started, years and years ago with AT&T Wireless in New York City, and I was transferred out to Colorado. And then I actually did an international assignment for a few years in the country of Grenada. And when I came back, I bought a business coaching franchise. And through that, weirdly, I don't even know how this happened, but I started coaching all these trades. And now I've coached 18 different trades. And in the middle of that, I met my husband, who's a master plumber, and he was just sort of a solopreneur. And we moved down to Denver and started Sunshine Plumbing, Heating, Air in 2012. And we just grew organically. We've made the Inc. 5000 list. We grew 535% in 1 year. So it was a huge success story. And then we almost lost everything. We had a bad embezzlement. And because I was traveling, I went back to doing what I love, which is speaking and working out in all over the country with different business owners. And some crazy things happened, which I have to say, Molly, it really helped me to be a better coach, because now I can share my story and be like, look, no matter what you're going through, we can get through this together. And, I've sort of come up with a plan to help people get out of debt, turn their company around, and now just grateful and blessed to help people make that next step to selling. And we call that now build to sell, right? Because you want to start working on your business, and knowing that someday you're going to sell it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And so you still have your business, Sunshine, right?
Yes, I do. Yep.
So tell us a little bit now that you're serving in regards to what you're doing every single day of helping people. And I'd love to get your insights, some drive-by coaching tips and techniques for our listeners.
Drive by. I love that.
They're always talking about their exit strategy, dreaming of their exit strategy.
Yeah.
But you can talk about it and you can plan your work, but it's about working your plan. So tell us a little bit about your passion around helping entrepreneurs sell their business and preparing for it.
Well, here's how this all came about, because I know it sounds confusing. Like, wait, you own a plumbing company, then now all of a sudden you're working for a business broker. Like, how the heck did that happen? So, we got ourselves in a predicament with this bad employee where we were, let's see, $1 million in debt.
Woo.
Yeah. Right. Is that a slap in the face or what?
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe it. So number one tip out there, guys, if you're listening to this, get your own mail. Because if you let someone get your mail, they can hide stuff. And it's a long story, but in any case, I was exasperated, Molly. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was just miserable in all ways. And I started calling my friend Marla, who's the CEO of Raincatcher, and I've known her for many, many years. When I used to teach for the SBA years ago, I would have her come in as my financial expert. And I said, you know what, I want to sell. And I can't do it anymore. And the valuation was not enough to cover my debt. And so, but they told me, look, if you do these things and you turn it around, your company is going to be worth X, which was a number that I could pay off all my debt and still have money left over for retirement. So it really inspired me to keep going, right? When I wanted to quit, because now I'm like, oh, look, there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train. So that was really a great motivator. And so Marla and I kept in touch. And then she said, hey, do you want to take a few coaching clients? And I said, okay. And then next thing you know, after about a year of working side by side, Raincatcher invited me to come on board and be part of this new division, which is business growth. So what I help people do is people who were in my predicament or not, is help walk them through all of the drivers that are important to get your company ready for sale at some point. So maybe it's 20 years, but most people don't realize monthly recurring revenue, whatever you can do on monthly recurring revenue is going to help you exponentially in your sale, because now people are like, oh, well, I can walk in Monday and keep making money right away. So there's 8 things that you focus on in this process. And that's what I help people do.
Can you walk us through the 8 things?
Let's see if I know them all off the top of my head. Oh my gosh.
Give us one, because, I love the monthly recurring revenue. Many of my attorneys that I coach and consult with, they'll have an annual maintenance program, or they'll have some kind of membership, Netflix, all of them have done that model very, very beautifully. And so often I'll get pushback from attorneys. So listen up, people.
Yes. People,
listen up. You want to sell your business. This is the fastest way. The other thing I really want to highlight, and maybe if you could pick 1 or 2 that you want to share, but how exciting to be in a place of complete defeat and dread. I mean, when you said $1 million, my stomach dropped for you. And, we've all been in that position in some way, shape, or form. But you are at the place where you're like, I can't recover from this at all. And just the fact, I always say this, the truth will set you free, right? You find an expert, you have the conversation with them, expecting the worst scenario. And you're like, just get me out. I'm running from versus running to. And
Exactly.
then for you to hear that, okay, let's take a time out. Let's really look at this. Let's begin with the end in mind. Let's back into this and look at how you're empowered. And how many years ago was that? And now you're still running this successful business.
Well, the embezzlement, we uncovered everything in 2018. It took over 18 months of gathering evidence to get this person arrested and to go through that whole process. And we had to downsize our facility. Like, it was humiliating. And I was flying all over the country doing a talk on my book, Compete on Awesome, Not on Price. And Molly, I got to the point where integrity was punching me in the nose every day because I couldn't do that talk anymore. Like, I felt like such a phony that I was standing up there doing Compete on Awesome, Not on Price. And I knew all this crap was happening at home. So I couldn't do it. I would get off stage and I would physically get sick. And that's what, what I did. Well, and then I decided at a certain point, I need to tell the whole story. And so what we did is we turned it around. We downsized. I've paid off $750,000 in the last 2 years. And I run Sunshine remotely. Yeah, I have a great team, and they've been with me for a long time. And my husband is now learning new skills. He really only wanted to be in the field, but now he's learning a lot being inside the office, and he's doing a really great job. So super proud of him, but I'm still the coach on the side.
So you even physically got rid of the brick and mortar and you're running a virtual company now as well?
Well, we did for 2 years, and now we're back in a facility. I mean, it's hard for us because we have parts and trucks and things like that, right? So, and a lot of times our employees can't take vehicles home because of HOA rules. Like, no one wants a big yellow billboard in their neighborhood all weekend. So, there's that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What an extraordinary story, Susan.
Well, you know what? It's made me a better coach because now I know how to help people get out of a predicament. And my empathy isn't just empathy. It's like, I know how this happened. I've been there. I know how it feels. I know how it is to wake up in the middle of the night and check your bank balance and wonder how you're going to make payroll. And we never miss payroll. One, because our bank is awesome with us, but two, we've always had the Thursday miracle. And whatever, it's crazy because that's the day the money needs to be in the bank for Friday's payroll. But every Thursday, some amazing thing happened that we get money enough to cover payroll. It's only divine because there's no other explanation.
Oh, the Thursday miracle. I absolutely love that. So our listeners here, they're listening to your absolute victorious story from the breakdown to the breakthrough. 100%. There's not anybody who's listening to this podcast that cannot resonate. Doesn't matter if it was $2 or $1 million. It doesn't matter what if it wasn't in money, but it was in production, stealing clients, whatever it might be. We all have been there and through our entrepreneurial journey. And at some point, all of us do have, that's why we own a business, is because so we have something to show for it at the end of the day for the whatever retirement means to people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean fishing. It means that you're going to sell your business and go on to be a coach such as yourself or whatever it might be. So this alone of just even your entrepreneurial journey is so magnificent. And for you to create your second chapter, you still have your business that you run with your husband wildly successful. You've learned a lot. You've transformed it. Now you're also serving with as a business broker, right? You're serving as a coach on the business building side of it.
I am.
And so tell us a little bit about what you would just give for our listeners in regards to their entrepreneurial journey, whether they are actively thinking about selling or that's the ultimate goal, and some of the things that you're working with your clients around in regards to this proactive business building side.
Yeah. So the 8 things are that people need to be looking at: financial performance, of course, right? What is the growth potential of the organization or the firm? Switzerland structure: how reliant are you on one supplier, one client, or one employee? Right. And that's very dangerous, especially now supplier in this supply chain debacle. That
Yeah.
could be very, very dangerous to some companies. Valuation teeter-totter. So that means whether your company's a cash suck or a cash spigot. Hierarchy of recurring revenue. We brought that up in the beginning. Monopoly control. How different you are from all of your competitors. How do you set yourself apart? Customer satisfaction, of course, and we can actually create a link that we can do a net promoter score for our clients, and they can find out what their clients think. And then hub and spoke. This is the big one, folks. Listen up on this. This is how dependent your business is on you. And what would happen to your company if you were unexpectedly unable to work for 3 months? Or a big pandemic came and you couldn't go to your office for a long time.
Oh, that'll never happen.
Oh, I know. So those are the things. But you know what I can do, Molly? If any one of your listeners is interested in finding out this information on their company and getting a score, I'm going to send you a link where they can click on it, and I will get notified that they did their value builder report. And then, I can spend at 30 minutes going through it with them, and they'll know exactly what they need to work on.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, it's super cool. The test is awesome. And it really helps you to get clarity on like, oh, I'm doing really good. Or, oh, I got some work to do.
Either way, the information, what do they say? The root of all anxiety is lack of information, right? Like I'm $1 million in debt. I'm screwed. I might as well just, close this all up. Just get me the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And then you get the information and look at how that turned out in just a short amount. I mean, 18 months in the grand scheme of things I know all the groundwork that you did was just excruciating, but what you're able to accomplish and transform in that time is. So what would you say to our business owners? I'm sure you've experienced this and you have articulated that you've been through it. I don't know if I want to fill out this form. I don't even know if I want to have this conversation because I have so much shame around that I don't have my ducks in a row. I don't have a sellable business. Heck, I don't even have a business that's capable of the growth that I envision. What would you say? Do you experience this with any of your clients or prospective clients you work with?
Well, I think it's just good to know where you are, right? You need a benchmark. So say you wanted to go on a diet and you want to do a SMART goal about it: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and have a timeline. Okay, well, using that as an example, why wouldn't you just want to know where you are in your business so that you can start working on it? And that's really the key. Like if you know that there's a problem with your financials and you're not ready to retire for 10 years, okay, baby steps. Each year, we're going to work on better profitability. And maybe that means tightening the belt in certain areas or finding a new revenue stream or whatever that looks like. Like, just know, rip the Band-Aid off. And even if I coach a bunch of people that are not ready to sell. And here's another thing, Molly, that I do. And I just had a client this morning. We had this conversation. He's like, you know what? Now that the business is running better after I made all these changes. I don't think I want to sell yet. He's like, I'm going to just collect a paycheck. And then, when it comes time for me to retire, then we'll have this conversation again.
How great is that?
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. And that in essence was your story as well, right?
Yeah, it was like, I know what it feels like when you're at the end of your rope. And you know what? I think, elephant in the room right now with hiring, right? Because that's another reason people aren't hitting their numbers, is because they can't hire anybody. So, that's something else to get clarity. Like, is there something else I can offer that's not labor intensive? That could be like an online portal or a course or a product or whatever that is, that doesn't require a human being to facilitate that growth or that additional revenue.
And I fight, and I use that word intentionally, with my clients every single day, because they're so custom to a brick and mortar building, number one. And number two, they're just so stuck in the old ways of, I can't have a remote person. I can't have that automized. My clients want to see me. They built a business based on the brain surgeon model, so to speak. And, getting them to shift that, they're really not understanding that it's hindering their growth. So thank you for backing me on this in regards to it's having more of a digitized business, whether it have an online portal, whether it have an interactive portal, whether it have videos or membership side of your business, even when you're selling legal services or plumbing services or whatever it might be. You really have to expand your horizon, expand your thinking in regards to it, from a place of being able to not only survive, but thrive, and really being able to, and to embrace that, because so often there's a story, a tremendous amount of head trash around, I'm in the personal service industry. And, if I move to online or digital education courses, what have you, I'm going to lose clients. But you're going to lose clients if you don't automate, if you don't systematize that as well, because if they're going to voicemail, or they have to wait until they can get you, it's always going to be fits and starts.
Something that we just did, Molly. So here I'm the shoemaker with holes in my shoes. I have been wanting to do online scheduling at the plumbing company for a really long time. And my office manager has always been nervous about it because she's been so used to having that personal relationship with the clients and talking. But, I just keep telling her, I'm like, look, I travel so much and I hate when I have to call somewhere to book an appointment. Like, I'll go to the next vendor if I can book it online. And that even goes for like nails or a hair appointment, anything, doctor appointment, whatever I can do online, I'm doing it. So we stumbled upon this company at one of the conventions, and they had a testimonial from a client that their revenue increased by $1 million a year by going to online booking. And so now we're in the process of transitioning over to that. And it's not going to be 100%. However, this new system now is going to allow people to book 2 o'clock in the morning if you're up, or, if you're on an airplane like me, who's always got Wi-Fi, book your appointment, your plumbing appointment on there, and book your heating appointment. Let's schedule out your maintenance for 3 months from now. So we're really excited about it, but it wasn't an overnight, hey, let's just go do this, right? There had to be a, kind of really good business case, and that $1 million a year, that certainly was a great motivator.
Yes, it was. Absolutely. And there's so many ways that she can still, while she's not spending that time booking the appointment, she could do courtesy calls and follow-up calls when they book it. Heck, you can get on video and send a video that is automated and goes out right after that appointment's booked with a welcome. And here's what makes us different. Here's what you can expect. Here's why you don't want to cancel your appointment. Here's what whatever. That still will go so long in regards to that connection.
Yeah, and I want to speak to the video, what you just said, Molly, because that's really important. So we're all struggling trying to hire people, but what I started doing is making personalized videos and putting them out on my social media channels. And that's how we've been getting employees, because people see me and they're like, she looks like a nice lady, or I want to work for them. And then I've also been doing that on the reverse lookup on Indeed. So I've created some videos that say, hey, Molly, I saw your resume on Indeed, and I think you would be a great fit for our company. Let's have a chat by video and see if your goals and values align. And if they do, then we'll turn that into a full-blown interview and we'll invite you in. And that's the only thing that's working for us. And that works across the board, is when you can have that personal connection with you speaking, people really connect to that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As a recruiter, that's what my clients, I say, I need a video from you. I need a video, and then we'll use it for our recruiting. And hands down, we're able to secure clients or candidates for them because of that personal connection that they're having. Yeah, that's great. So what would you say? I know our time's almost up here, and we are going to do this webinar. We are absolutely going to schedule that, because I know many of my attorneys, many of my clients can absolutely resonate, whether they're in the place of really growth and expansion or preparing for ultimately to have a sellable, scalable practice, or maybe they're at the end, they're at the swan song time, and they need to start really looking at this for part of their exit strategy. So I can't wait to give that webinar with you, and thank you so much for giving us another hour of your time and delivering that. That's fantastic. Great. So tell our listeners here how they can stay connected with you, how they can hear more about Raincatcher and hear more about the valuation.
Well, I'm sending you a link to the valuation, so you can put this underneath the podcast.
Great.
It's a little long, the link, and you just click on it and do the value builder assessment. Then what will happen is, once you complete that, I will reach out. We'll schedule an appointment for me to go through it. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, Susan Frew, Frew, and it's the slash is Susan Frew Speaks.com. And my website at Raincatcher is raincatcher.com. So
great. Oh, Susan, thank you so much for being our guest. I'm so happy to reconnect with you and learn about you. And I absolutely will be filling this out, and I can't wait to sit down and have a cup of coffee with you.
Cool. Well, thanks, Molly. It's been wonderful connecting.
Yes. All right. Until next time, continue to be leaders leading leaders. We've reached the end of another impactful conversation on the Hire and Empower podcast. Whether this was your first episode or you're a longtime listener, I know you can tell I have passion for people. Whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, I understand the situation you're in. Hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, overwhelming, and if that's not enough, it's also time-consuming. My friends, it doesn't have to be this way. There is a team at H&E that has your back. For over 25 years, they've transformed over 4,000 law firms into efficient, effective, profitable assets for their business and made it fun to come to work again. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.